Welcome to Komando on Demand Insider, your fast-paced weekly update straight from Kim's desk to your ears. I'm Mike James, and in just a bit, Kim is talking with Jeff Kopetsky. He's the CEO of a company called Power Inbox. He's actually a partner of Komando.com and the Komando.com newsletters, where we send out millions of newsletters every single month. He's an expert at converting email lists into dollars, and he's going to share some of that expertise with us today, some of the new material. And I'm telling you, he's forgotten more than we know about newsletters. He is going to talk about some of the new materials they use and the secrets to email marketing, the unique and powerful techniques to capturing your audience, the one-on-one connection from the sponsor and the user, many different data points that are collected on profiles, what day of the week, what time of the day that is the best open rate and click-through rates by the best day to send newsletters. What is Jang? How does it change the whole newsletter game? Like I said, there's so much information on this podcast. The revenue model for newsletters, why newsletters are even more personal than social media. We've got it all for you today on this Komando on Demand podcast, and it's coming right up. By the way, this is not the Kim Komando Show. Every week, Kim gives you the very latest tech news, tips, DIYs, and we take your questions on the Kim Komando Show. For that podcast, just go to getkim.com. Again, that's getkim.com, and we've got a free 30-day trial for you if you use promo code Kim. Again, use promo code Kim at getkim.com for your free 30-day trial of Komando Community, where you can get the Komando Show podcast and a whole lot more. All right, getting started here in just a moment with Jeff Kopetsky, CEO of Power Inbox on Komando on Demand.
With all the talk of texting, social media marketing, retargeting campaigns, Instagram influencers, YouTube stars, SEO, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, affiliate marketing, and of course, Facebook ads, you might think that something as old and as reliable as email is totally dead when it comes to getting a decent ROI. But you're wrong. I've been marketing my show and all of our products since 1995 by sending email to people who ask for our newsletters. And today, we send out 40 million emails a month. It's just this crazy number. And from time to time, this is unbelievable. We need to do server maintenance, so the newsletters will get delayed by just a few hours. This is astounding to me that people will actually call the studios and send me email to say, Kim, why didn't I get my newsletter this morning? Okay, when's the last time you did that with any advertisement that you ever saw? Email marketing is going strong today. It's possibly the best that it's ever been. And we have a hype over all these new ways to promote and market your products. But why is this decades-old tech still one of the most effective marketing strategies? Well, I think the answer has something to do with the fact that people use email more than any other platform. That's why building a successful email marketing campaign is more important than ever for any business. But here's the problem. So many people, they don't even know where to start. And if they have it, they don't know what they're doing, or they're not doing it correctly. So we're so lucky to have with us Jeff Kopetsky, who is the CEO of this phenomenally successful company called Power Inbox. Okay, maybe you haven't heard about Power Inbox, but 650 leading publishers, including me, we totally trust Power Inbox to engage our audience, to keep them with us. So, Jeff, first of all, thanks for being here. What do you say to people who say, email's dead, isn't it?
Well, Kim, it's a pleasure to be on your show, and obviously we're very appreciative of the partnership that we have with your company. And what I like to tell folks is that email's certainly not dead, because people are still engaging with this medium. If you think of, let's say, physical mail, people say, I don't use that to communicate anymore, but yet you still go there to pick up bills and maybe catalogs, and there's always kind of coupons that you're looking for. And it turns out email is sometimes seen as the same way, where it's a medium that people know what to expect, and they're getting kind of trusted offers from brands that they have trusted.
And that trust is so important, isn't it? Because, we also are fighting because of all the phishing scams and the junk email that's getting sent. And so you have to be able to get above the fray. What do you think is the most important thing that publishers and companies need to remember when they start getting into email marketing?
Well, as you said, it's trust. We find that there's so much information that consumers can access over so many different channels. You mentioned in the intro, social media. But it's only when people receive an email that they actually engage more. We've done some research that suggests the engagement on email is much, much higher than any other channel because of the implied trust from the sender. So if you're reading an article or a piece of product advice and you're getting an email, consumers have shown that they're much more likely to engage with that because it's from, in their view, a trusted source rather than it might be shared with them through social media.
And that's really interesting. And as we start looking at some of the trends that have happened since COVID-19, right? I mean, it has totally disrupted so many businesses, so many industries, so many people's lives globally, right? I mean, you're in Israel, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and we're both sitting at home, right? Going, okay, when is this going to be over? But one of the things that I've noticed when I look at some of the statistics, because I love data. I mean, I don't know about you, Jeff, but show me the data. I don't want to make a decision with my gut. I want to see what's really happening. Is that some of our newsletters, one in particular called The Current, has a 52% open rate, which is crazy. Have you seen similar trends yourself?
We absolutely have. And I've been kind of so surprised, but in some ways not really, because email's always been seen as this trusted, safe harbor. People are comfortable with the brand, as we talked about, with trust. And I think what's happened with the very unfortunate situation that we're in is that people have found themselves, stuck at home, and they're turning to places that give them comfort. So newsletters like yours that people have already been seeing in their inbox for so many months, now they're spending more time. They're opening them. And even more so, they're clicking on them. I can share with your audience that we've seen across our network a 30% increase in opens and a 25% increase in clicks, meaning higher engagement as well. So people are not just kind of always been with this medium, but I think in this particular period, they're actually turning to it even more than they had been before.
And they probably have more time, right? I mean, we're all sitting here, and I don't know about you, Jeff, but I've cleaned the garage, the laundry room, my closet, okay? And I've done all these things that I always said, well, if I had time, I would do it. Well, now I have time, and I'm on my Peloton every day. I mean, my legs are solid. I'm telling you, they are. And I'm hoping that, what I've told the folks at the studios is I'm hoping that as we have seen our open rates and our click-through rates, click-to-open rates and, everything else, we've seen them increase, that I'm hoping that the audience will stay with us and the readers will stay with us because we've been delivering such targeted content to them. And I think that's particular when you start looking at email marketing, that the topics have to be very specialized, don't they?
They do, and you obviously want to be targeted. But one thing that makes the email platform so unique and powerful is that you talk about people sticking with you. Well, when you get someone to actually sign up for one of your newsletters, you're actually getting a real individual who's raising their hand and says, I want to hear from you. And what's great about that is that identity, that person, is somebody that now will receive information no matter if they upgrade their phone, if they use a different device, if they move. And that's not the same for other mediums that might be reliant on something like a cookie or even a physical address, when those things seem to change a lot more frequently than someone might change their digital email address, which is their identity.
And that's a really great point, because it is a matter of trust, like we talked about, but it's also that, that the medium is so effective. In the beginning, it was really hard to figure out how to monetize email marketing, because you'd send it out and you'd say, okay, well, we're having a special, right? Click here to save 15% or 20%, or we're just trying to get you to an article. I mean, in the beginning, when I started our email newsletters, it was strictly because we had advertisers on the radio, and I wanted the audience, the radio audience, to figure out that we wanted them to go buy an Epson printer, right? Because Epson was a sponsor of the radio show. So in the beginning, it just was ads for whatever we had for products and brands on the national radio shows. And then we turned it into doing deals with your company Talk about how people can monetize and create a revenue stream through their email marketing methods.
Sure. And I think that what's really cool is how the technology is now caught up to really provide senders and publishers a one-to-one connection with the end user. In today's technology, even after an email is sent, we have the ability to change the content that's presented to the user at the time of the open. So if you're saying Epson is looking to sponsor, wouldn't it be great that if they knew a little bit more about the users and they knew that, okay, there was a particular segment, either based on geography, time of day, or other information that they can use to pinpoint, these are the type of users I want to put my ad in front of. And when you use a scalable partner, they can help you target each individual user with a specific ad. Now, most people like yourselves have direct sales forces that they can target the sponsors that would most likely want to buy out, let's say, the whole newsletter. What a company like ours can do is help you with all the other ways that we can bring additional advertisers. If a typical brand might have 20 or 30, we can bring the extra 200 or 300 because we can sell all the audiences at scale. And again, the benefit is every user is getting a unique advertisement recommendation at the time of the open. And it's not a one-size-fits-all solution then.
So the ads are, my understanding is that the ads are based upon the user's browsing habits. Is that correct?
It's every information that we can kind of glean through their, obviously, permission-based by participating in the newsletter program. So they'll look at their click history. We'll look at the segment. It reports things like where is your location or what kind of device are you using. And the advertisers really like to target based on that type of information. And again, just think about, you might have listeners that are kind of during the week, might be interested in certain types of products, but now they're at home on a tablet on the weekend, they've got their legs up on the sofa, you're probably going to want to give them different type of content than the same email you might have sent on a Monday and they're opening up at work. And that's the type of difference that we're now able to do, is that fine pinpointing of knowing where the user is, what time it is, what device they're on, and potentially what they might have shown interest in the past. And that's what we use to then make a recommendation in real time.
See, that's fascinating to me, that and it all happens in a split second because the person opens the email, bam, they see the ad that's tailored basically to them.
And it is all done in real time at the time of open.
Hey, don't forget, if you've got a good question about something digital, you can get Kim's unbiased advice, and it's advice that you can trust. America's Digital Pro, Kim Komando, and our nationally syndicated radio show. You just go to komando.com and in the upper right-hand corner, click on the Be a Caller button. We're going to ask you your name and for a couple of details about your question. And then Manny will get in touch with you. We'll set up a time where you can be on the show, ask your question on the show. It is fun. You can call your friends and let them know that you're going to be on the show. And that's, again, the Be a Caller button in the upper right at komando.com. All right, more of Kim's conversation with Jeff Kopetsky coming up. He's the CEO of a company called Power Inbox, and next he's going to talk about the many different data points that are collected on profiles, the times of day emails are opened, and even the click-through rate by day. Oh, also, they've just acquired a company called Jang. What is it, and how does it change the game of newsletters and emails? Next on Komando on Demand Insider.
And so how many different data points do you think needs to be tracked on a person like that? I mean, in order to give them something that they're really, truly interested in.
Yeah, well, because of the nature of this space, it is possible to get a full representation of somebody's kind of profile using a hashed email address. And again, just to explain, hash means I can't identify who that person is. I just know that that person is unique. And therefore, I can find other data matched against that hashed email that maybe deepens the profile. So the example might be, let's say I'm trying to sell mortgages and I want to know somebody who might be in my credit criteria. I can use the hashed email and find what that person's kind of credit level would be or what that unique individual might have had previously in financial products. And so that allows the advertisers to be really, really pinpointed in deciding do they want to pay for that user. For the publisher, for the sender, the benefit is, I'll just finish the thought, is that then they get a much higher rate because they're able to kind of offer this very pinpointed, type of solution. So it's not a sponsorship. These are not people that would typically be doing billboards. They're people that are really thinking about the performance marketing where I want to find that exact user who's in the market for my product, and therefore I'll pay a lot more to put my ad in front of that specific user.
Which makes perfect sense because if you can target it effectively, then hopefully the ROI will also be raised accordingly. In your research and in running this company, have you seen, is there a particular time of day where, say, the newsletter ads perform better than, say, other times a day?
There definitely is, I would say, a very, very predictable curve of when we see emails opened. But we've done some interesting research that suggests, everyone knows that Monday is the day that there's the most opens. Generally, it starts to trend down. Every day after that, there's fewer and fewer. But that also reflects, I think, people's calendars of how often they send. What we found interesting is that click-through rates, though, not open rates, but click-through rates are not higher on Monday and Tuesday because you're competing with so many other, pieces of information. We find click-through rates are actually highest on Saturdays and Sundays. So the idea may be, again, if you're in a product area, and I'm thinking now that the demand's at the advertiser side, where you might want to attract more the weekend kind of user, then they target them on the weekend. And interesting to come back to the COVID, we would say that the current during the week behavior looks a lot like the weekend behavior, and exactly to your point, because we've lost that ability to distinguish now between, the time at work and the time not at work. So that would be just one insight that we've seen, is that click-through rates and open rates are not the same in terms of the right time to take advantage.
So Power Inbox, you just acquired a firm called Jang. Did I pronounce that right?
We did. Yeah, that was just today we announced that. And we're really excited because as we look at the future, we think, okay, why is email so powerful? Because it's a medium to send a message. And if you can personalize that message to users, you can also offer them something that's relevant in the moment. Well, there's been now an explosion of other channels that people can access readers with timely information. One of the common ones that's coming now is browser-based push. If you've been on a website and says, hey, do you want to hear from us again? Do you want to allow us to send you notification? Many, many users are taking advantage of that, including, I understand, your firm is going to be starting to offer that on your site as well.
Yeah.
And so what Jing is going to...
I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, and here's why we're really passionate about it, is that it's going to give you a capability to get the relevant content to a user independent of channel. So the first product we have now is a browser-based push, but it will soon evolve into personalized email as well. And therefore, the user will receive the right information. Doesn't matter the platform. They could be at work. They get it as an email. They could be on a tablet. They're getting it as an in-app message. They could be on a mobile phone. They get it as a browser push. And the idea is you can now offer that trusted relationship that you have with messages that you know are timely and relevant to the user. And that's going to be a win-win for all sides.
Do you think that with the addition of this new acquisition, that people will actually be more engaged, independent of what day of the week it is?
Absolutely. I mean, we like to use this example, which, again, we're seeing here. If you are local to a community and people are giving corona stats, if it's a general, here's what's happening in the world, it's not going to be as, I would say, interesting. But if I knew that you were in a particular area, if it's Phoenix and even specifically more your neighborhood, and we start sending you multiple messages about the number of cases or the number of recoveries or the number of places now opening up, that's the type of content you would find timely, relevant, and you wouldn't mind how many of those messages you received during the day. So whereas the normal thinking on email is, oh, we don't want to spam people, we don't want to send too much, that's in the world where it's not personalized, it's not automated, and it's not necessarily targeted to that user. You need a platform that you can actually get people personalized messages, and then, again, people won't mind getting that because it's relevant to what they're looking for.
So how does that work? Is there a dashboard that tells me the information and then I can push it out?
Yeah, it's actually a really cool thing because from an implementation, you need one line of JavaScript that goes on a website. That allows the system to start collecting the information, both in terms of asking users to sign up and also seeing what are the articles, what are the content pieces that people are interested in. Then the dashboard that we offer has two settings. There's a fully automated setting where you can let the computer decide what message to what user at what time, or there's the assisted one where you decide those things and then let the computer automate whatever you decide. So I might want to say, okay, I'm going to send at 9 in the morning during the week, and on the weekend it'll be 11 a.m. You can change that. You can check the stats and make those changes. And again, the system can operate in both modes, where you either have something automated or supported by what an editor at the publisher might decide that they want to do in terms of when they send.
Hey, if you love this digital stuff and you love to be on the cutting edge of what's going on, sign up for Kim's Breaking Tech News. So we've got security alerts, we've got data breaches, and much more digital know-how. It's the free Komando newsletters, and you can get yours, again, free at komando.com, which is Komando. And on the top, click on the Get the Newsletters button, and you got them. Hey, we've got even more of Jeff Kopetsky coming up, including the revenue model for newsletters and why newsletters are even more personal than social media, possibly even radio. Next on Komando on Demand Insider.
It's just fascinating to me. It really is. This whole technology and everything that's happening with email marketing, only because I personally, and I'm passionate about it. I mean, I know what it has done for our company and for our brand. So walk us a little bit through some of the, I guess you'd say, the revenue model. What is that?
Sure. So if you're a publisher and you have this traffic, if you think about what an email is or even a push notification, there are opportunities to bring those users back to your site. And if they choose not to engage with the content, then it's an opportunity to maybe, serve them an advertisement. The way our business functions is we work on a revenue share model. So there's no commitment by the publisher. There's no minimums. There's nothing that they have to kind of feel obligated for. But for every opportunity that we have to sell an ad, we then give them the majority of what we make from that ad back to them. So it's as though we act as their sales arm for bringing them relevant advertising. And even this new product, what's really exciting about it is that can be priced as a traditional software as a service. So there's a fee for how many messages you send. But because it also has the ability to have advertising placed in it, we have a model that allows you to actually make money and not have to pay anything by using the rev share aspect of having ads shown in messages.
Jeff, is there a perfect size list or how many names do you need to have to at least get started with Power Inbox?
Like I said, we don't have minimums, and we definitely have strategies of how people, even if you start with a small list, can build on that. We're very bullish about why we think this channel is so important. And I'm sure, as you've addressed, as people know, the idea in the past of how you would target users is primarily through the cookie in the browser. And people should be aware that that's going away. It's not a very secure way to identify people. It's not accurate. If you change a device or if you share a computer, that's not the same individual anymore. And so people are going to be looking for what's the alternative way that I can build a way to acquire traffic if I'm an advertiser or monetize my users if I'm a publisher. And what we're telling people, and we see it very clearly, when you have an email list and you build that list, you now create a strong identity with an end user that you own that relationship. It's not being intermediated by Google or Facebook. It's something that you own, and you can now market to that user on a regular basis, no matter where they decide to consume your content.
Yeah, and that's always been my problem with Facebook, and I've never been that person who says on a national level, join me on Facebook at facebook.com/Kim Komando because we're going to do this and this. I was always pushing them back to just Komando.com because I figured they were already on Facebook. They could find us if they wanted us to, if they wanted to. And now with Facebook, I mean, it's like it used to be if we put an article up on Facebook, we would have like 15,000 people on the website automatically. I mean, just boom. Okay. Then it's like we put an article up on Facebook or we link to something on Komando.com. It's like 75 people. I'm not kidding you. 100. And then that button comes up and it says, do you want to boost your post? I'm like, no. Okay. Which means everybody that's there, they're probably not going to see it. So that lends us back to what traditional marketing means work and are more productive and aren't as intrusive. And as you so astutely stated, is that you own the customer. Okay, Facebook owns your customer, Twitter owns your customer, YouTube, wherever you send them. But if you have that email relationship, it is a one-on-one, and it's like radio. Radio is a one-on-one relationship because, it's an intimate relationship. I'm in your head, with email, I'm in your face. And I don't think a lot of people have really realized that yet.
It's even more because if you think of Facebook, we can call that like drive-by traffic, right? It's very, very little engagement by the user. There's very little understanding of what that user really cares about when they come to a website, when it's referred from Facebook. When you have an email relationship, though, as we've talked about, you can really learn the user's preferences, what their interests are, what would be relevant to them. So it's a much deeper relationship. So you have this benefit of now you're going to see that person more often because you can obviously send them email. You know more about them. And ultimately, you can then tailor your content, your offerings, the things that you present to that user so it is more relevant, which further deepens the relationship. And what we've been saying is it's not so much the quantity of your website traffic. It should be the number of owned relationships, the number of email addresses or push notification subscribers, because that's the core of the audience that you're really engaging with. And I probably would argue that's probably the core of where you're going to make your money as a publisher as well, which is another reason to invest in that channel.
Jeff, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. I guess if somebody wants to sign up, learn more, just go to powerinbox.com, right?
That's right. And once again, we're always appreciative of the partnership with your company, and you've been a fantastic partner. We're looking forward to growing that relationship as well.
Jeff, once again, thank you. Appreciate you.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for joining us for Komando On Demand Insider. Our special thanks to Jeff Kopetsky, the CEO of Power Inbox. We hope you learned a lot about newsletters, and if you don't have a newsletter service, it might be time to get one for a successful business. And thanks for listening to Komando On Demand. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already so you get these downloaded to your device every single week automatically. And we leave you with some final thoughts with Kim. We'll see you next time.
Only a few weeks ago, status and celebrity was all about money. How much they made, how much of it could they throw around, their clothes, exotic vacations, cars, bling, and then the pandemic. The concept of status changes over time. Fast Company writes that 200 years ago, status was based on the size of your farm and your family. Now, under a raging storm of COVID-19, celebrities and so-called internet influencers cry out for attention. But no one's listening, because just like everyone else, they're in hiding too. Today, status is all about how fast is your internet connection. Do you know a hack to get priority delivery slots? What kind of mask do you have? Where'd you buy it? Any Zoom funny stories, bread recipes, or tips on supplies and how to buy meat? Welcome to the new normal. I'm Kim Komando.